This is baby formula. Costs over $70 for this baby formula. A sack of potatoes, one bag of potatoes. Or apples. In French, it's pomme de terre, so it kind of gets confusing.
Yes, Jagmeet, it gets very, very. I've got another great clip of Jagmeet Singh coming up here, and this is just fascinating. But speaking of Jagmeet Singh, remember when he declared boycott against Loblaws, even though he's got a relative, right, who's knee deep in Metro, another grocery store. The hypocrisy of this man. He's got family working for Metro. But no, we've got to boycott Loblaws because they're apparently making money hand over fist, price gouging people. But actually, the profit margin for grocery stores is about 1% to 2%. At the tops, maybe 5%. It's not like selling furniture, where or cars, where there's a huge markup. So Singh is ignorant about what he's talking about, completely ignorant, and yet he goes on, and yet he has a boycott of Loblaws. Let me submit to you that had Jagmeet Singh been leading the bus boycott in Alabama in 1956, I believe it was, under that Rosa Parks initiated to stop segregation on buses in the South. If Jagmeet Singh had led that boycott, I would submit that Black people might still be suffering the injustice of having to sit at the back of the bus, because Jagmeet Singh is so ineffective as a leader, so ineffective. His boycotts are a joke. He doesn't seem to understand that there's really a principle here, and he doesn't even get the economics of the situation. So let's listen to this really interesting interview with Jagmeet on this Toronto station, which is really woke. It's really liberal. And this is why Jagmeet's on there all the time. It's called Breakfast Time, and it's a Toronto Independent. It's absolutely fascinating because they usually love this guy, but he gets this interview here. The interviewer completely sees through the fallacies in Jagmeet's arguments. And before we get to that, here, I showed this at the very beginning.
Baby formula. Costs over $70 for this baby formula. A sack of potatoes, one bag of potatoes. Or apples.
Yeah, they're not potatoes, Jagmeet. Those are called apples, and he's got them right literally in front of his face, and he can't seem to recognize the difference. Why is that? Because he reads a script. He's not even thinking about what he's saying. He's got his talking points memorized, or at least sort of there, and he can't even discern, ascertain the difference between apples and potatoes. But here he is, doing his best, doing his BSing best.
Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh continues his cross-country tour in Toronto today to push for a price cap on grocery store staples if grocers can't be convinced by the Liberal government to bring down the prices themselves. He joins us live now in studio to explain. Jagmeet, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
My question to you is, how do you force corporate grocers to bring down the prices or comply with a price cap? The argument the governing Liberals have made in saying that they don't agree with this idea is that, say, the price of sugar rises globally. How can you set a price in one region?
Well, we've seen another country do it. France has already done something really similar. And our main argument is this. When you go into the grocery store and you're buying your groceries, you're spending more than ever before, and you're leaving with less than ever before. So people feel intuitively, I'm getting ripped off. And they're right. These grocery store corporations are making some of the biggest profits they've ever seen in their history. And so we're saying, well, that's unfair. And the rules have been written to let them do that. We're saying, let's change the rules and give people an advantage. Let's give people a little bit of a break. And one way to do that concretely is to put in a price cap if these corporate grocery stores don't lower the price of essential items. We know they can do that. We've seen many of these corporate grocery stores have in-house brands, and they've talked about freezing those prices. They've talked about those prices coming down. So they absolutely do have control. They're making huge profits. People need a break, and so this is one way to do it.
What does forcing them to do it, though, look like before you bring in that price cap? Like, does it come in the form of sanctions?
Well, the negotiation would be, you've got a chance to bring it down on your own. If you don't bring it down, we will force it by putting in a price cap.
Okay.
The price cap would then be imposed by the federal government to say you can't charge more than a certain amount for food essentials like bread or like baby formula. And we know that they have been ripping us off because very recently there was a landmark settlement where $500 million was awarded in a settlement against Loblaws for their role in the bread price fixing in a class action lawsuit. So this is a significant penalty for the fact that they literally worked with other companies to jack up the price of bread, ripping off Canadians to the tune of $5 billion. They're finally having to pay a little bit for that. That's not enough. We know that it shouldn't come to having to go to court to get some fairness. The government should step up and protect people from these corporations that are ripping them off.
Now, we only have a limited amount of time with you, so I do want to ask you about the Conservatives' latest attack ad. They took aim at you as a person this week rather than your policies. I'm wondering what you make of the Conservative Party's shift in attacks against the governing Liberals and onto you.
Well, I think they're nervous. They know that what we're talking about makes a lot of sense. We're going after corporate greed. We're saying that big corporations shouldn't rip you off. People are thinking that makes a lot of sense. So they're attacking me personally, which I'm used to that. I don't mind that. But they're also lying. And those lies, they know they're lying because they know the reason why we're forcing Justin Trudeau to do things is because we want to give people dental care. We want to get people pharmacare. We want to give people some dignity and some help. And we're using our power in Parliament to fight for that. And I think they want to distract from the fact that Pierre Poilievre wants to strip that away from people. He's been very open about wanting to take away dental care, and people are now receiving it and saying, well, I don't want them to take away my dental care. That's a bad thing. So now he's trying to distract with these type of dishonest attacks. But we're going to keep on fighting for people.
With respect, though, the Liberals have lost, 20 points nationally, but your party doesn't seem to have brought in those disengaged Liberal voters. Take a look at the, Toronto-St. Paul's by-election. That recent by-election, the NDP lost vote share, even though the NDP hold it provincially. So what do you make of that?
Well, we're seeing a lot of folks across the country. I'm touring with this Change the Rules tour and seeing a lot of people excited about what we have to offer. We're seeing people now starting to get the benefits. We're seeing more and more seniors going to the dentist and getting their teeth fixed. And so people are realizing, what we fought for is actually improving their lives. And now we're saying, when we know you're getting ripped off by big corporations, we want to fight back against them to actually give you a break. The Liberals under Justin Trudeau aren't doing enough. They've let you down. They failed you. And Pierre Poilievre wants to put fuel on the fire of corporate greed. He wants to let those corporations rip you off even more. So we're offering an alternative, and we're starting to see people see that, that's a good alternative for us.
Well, the numbers suggest otherwise, though.
Basically, this is a man who wants to shut down grocery stores because he believes the price gouging is completely manufactured. He believes that the grocery stores are making incredible money off of this, and I think he'd rather see empty shelves with low prices than he would full shelves. Communism is not the answer to high prices. Maybe he should start looking at the carbon tax as one solution and get rid of that and stop forcing Canadians to pay taxes they can't afford to. And and the carbon tax is one of the reasons the price of groceries continues to escalate. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with all the news you need to know. Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right resistance, and we'll see you again soon.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need a political change, but we also need to resolve to resist